Yo guys, how's it going? AK Moto here. In this video, we are going to be tackling the CRF450L Supermoto build's top end rebuild. So I have the parts right here behind me, and let's take a look at what we're going to be replacing on this motor. So while we have the engine out of the bike, I thought it would be a really good time to go in and just take a look at the inside of the motor, give the top end a refresh. Because the engine's out of the bike, this is probably going to be the easiest time to do a top end rebuild on this bike. So we're going to be doing exactly that. Over here I have all of the parts we're going to need. So we have a brand new Pro X piston, we have a spark plug to go with that, a top end gasket kit, and then this is going to include our valve stem seals, which we'll replace as well. Right below that, I actually bought a water pump rebuild kit. I figured while we have the motor apart, while we're already here working on it, we might as well do this. This is kind of another maintenance item. Over here I have an OEM cam chain, so I figured it wouldn't be too much extra work to replace the cam chain. Usually when I do top ends, I like to do the cam chain just because we're already in there, and usually it's not too much extra work. I actually bought some new exhaust studs for this cylinder head because if we look, these ones are starting to get a little bit rusty, so I want to get those replaced. And then here we have a cylinder hone. I actually didn't have to buy this. I already had this on hand because I have done a top end rebuild kit or a top end rebuild on a CRF450R before. So we already have this, and then we also have the correct valve shims. So when we do go and check our valve clearances, we can adjust them if we need to. And honestly guys, not too much else to say. Should be hopefully a pretty straightforward top end rebuild. Let's get started with tearing the motor apart. So first, of course, we're going to tear off the valve cover, then from there we're going to take off the cylinder head and then our cylinder, and we can get a look at our old piston and rings, and then we should be able to reuse the old cylinder. Alrighty guys, so I got the main parts of the top end off here. So we have the piston, the cylinder, and the cylinder head off. And here I'm going to give you guys a closer look at the piston and the cylinder, but all you need to know is everything's looking really great. So the only thing I noticed about the cylinder is there's actually a pretty good amount of carbon buildup here at the very top where the rings kind of stop in the piston stroke. Quite a bit of carbon buildup, but the cross hatching and everything else on the cylinder looks absolutely immaculate. And here's the cylinder again flipped over. You can see a little bit of that cross hatching in there. It looks really good. And as we like to see, there's no weird nicks, nothing that'll catch the fingernail. Honestly, this cylinder looks perfect. I'm still gonna give it a quick hone just to kind of beat up some of that carbon right there and restore our cross hatching. I personally believe in honing 4-stroke cylinders. There's people that will tell you not to, but I've done it for countless bikes and had absolutely no issues. And I believe it's good to restore that 45-degree angle cross hatching in there. And our piston pretty much tells the same exact story. Quite a bit of carbon buildup, definitely not the worst I've seen, but there's a little bit of carbon on that piston. And here the skirt, everything looks really, really good in terms of its wear and tear. Overall, nothing abnormal at all. If anything, I would consider these to be pretty excellent condition. For the motors I've torn down, everything here looks really good. Now the process for honing the cylinder here, we just get our cylinder. I have some specially made flex hone oil that we're going to be oiling up the cylinder and the ball hone pretty well with this stuff. And then we have our ball hone here made for this size of cylinder. So all I do is I take the cylinder, I oil up the ball hone as well, and I just get a small box, something like this, and I put the cylinder and ball hone in here while I'm honing it, just because while you're honing the cylinder with the ball hone, it can fling off a lot of ball hone oil. So this small box will kind of catch it all, purely make things a lot cleaner. Actually had to do 2 rounds with the ball hone to fully break up that top ring of carbon that you guys saw. It just kind of goes to show that these ball hones really aren't very aggressive if it didn't even get all that little bit of carbon buildup off on the first pass. So I ended up doing 2, turned out great. We restored the crosshatch, nice consistent finish on the cylinder. So that's pretty much all we need to do. I'm gonna go ahead and clean these gasket surfaces off because we have a little bit of gasket material on them. But other than that, our cylinder is pretty much good to go as long as everything measures out correctly with our new piston. So, as you guys just saw, we have a broken exhaust stud. A little part of me kind of saw this coming because those are so rusted and exhaust studs never really like to come out. But yeah, definitely a major setback. It just adds to the broken hardware that we faced on this build, not only with the chain adjuster, but now this one. So, gonna be a little bit of a setback. I'm more than likely gonna do what I did for the swing arm. I'm gonna try and just take this disassembled cylinder head to a machine shop. I should have more luck because this is, you know, machine shops deal with broken studs, exhaust studs on cars, cylinder heads too. And this one is physically protruding out. So I'm hoping I can get some more luck and take it to a shop and hopefully they can get some more progress. I know for the dirt bike swing arm that I took to a couple places, nothing really worked out. So I'm hoping they can do something with this. Again, I'd really much rather take it to a place where I know they probably have the proper tooling versus me, where I could try and fix it, but it's probably just gonna get worse. So yeah, definitely a bit of a setback, and we're gonna have to work around this. Very frustrating, but it's a part of building any project car, dirt bike, whatever it is. Just how it goes. I'm still gonna get as far as I can on this top end rebuild. It's just we won't really be able to finish up this cylinder head. And speaking of delays, I actually forgot to order the ignition cover gasket. We're gonna need that in order to remove the ignition cover and ultimately replace our timing chain. Again, I completely spaced on that just because, you know, I knew to order a timing chain, but in order to install that timing chain, we're gonna have to remove the ignition cover. So I'll get that on order, and luckily I already have the exhaust studs for the cylinder head. So it's a matter of just finding a place that'll take that project in and hopefully get it out. Worst case scenario, if we do have to buy a new head, it's gonna be $400, which isn't the worst thing in the world, but also that's not nothing. So I'm definitely gonna explore my options first with taking it somewhere to get it removed. And if nothing else, then we're just gonna have to order a new head. Kind of like what we did for the KTM, but yeah. I guess we're just gonna keep going from here. I'm still gonna, alrighty guys, so I've decided what I'm gonna do for tonight is I'm just gonna get as far as I can with this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tear off the ignition side of the engine. We don't need the gasket obviously to tear it down, we're just gonna need it to assemble it. So I still need to get that gasket on order, but I'm gonna tear it down and make sure we can replace that camshaft chain tonight, just so we don't, you know, have to order any other parts. I don't wanna order the gasket, then find out we need more things. So yeah, that's where I'm at right now. Cylinder head's just gonna be on hold. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna disassemble it tonight, and then we'll see if we end up going to a machine shop. Hopefully they can get the stud out, And yeah, but tonight I'm just gonna go ahead and first I'm gonna tear down the cylinder head, and then from there I'm going to replace that cam chain. We're not gonna be able to put it back together, but we can at least know what we have to order. So yeah, let's get started with that. Alright y'all, we have hit a stopping point for tonight. As you can see, I actually have the engine kind of covered by a bag there, and then I actually have some of the parts over here. The cylinder also covered in a bag, so basically anything we don't want to get dusty or dirty, anything with a lot of little holes, put a bag over it. Yeah, they're pretty much hit our stopping point for tonight. Definitely unfortunate that we're gonna have to get those studs removed out of the cylinder head, those exhaust studs, but hey, you know, I did plan for it. I bought 2 new ones and I wanted to replace them, but I was hoping it'd go a little smoother, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. But anyway, yeah, we've hit a solid stopping point, and then I'll pick this video back up when we have basically some more progress to be made.